I've been using Figma for quite a long time. Before that, I used Sketch. And one of the great advantages to Figma, of course, was that it was free to start off with. And then there were a ton of plugins, and they made a lot of changes recently. But again, most people still use Figma. Figma is a great tool. But recently, there's been quite a few different new tools that have come out that are looking to replace Figma. And one of them I've decided to try out called Motiff. And one thing that's obviously a great appeal to it is they have a free plan just like Figma does, but the professional plan is only $4 a month. And that gives you unlimited Motif files and version history and a team library. And of course, dev mode, which is great. When you look at Figma, Figma has a free plan, but then after that, it's $15 a month. And again, it's unlimited. It's team libraries. There's a VS Code extension. So you're talking about a third of the price. And so then the question becomes, okay, the free tier is great, but if you want something higher and you're not absolutely wed to Figma, is Motif worth looking at? And in some ways, I think that it is. So if we look at Motif, one thing that it is severely lacking is the plugin library and some of the other items that Figma does have. Figma's been around for years and has a ton of plugins that you can use to help in your development or your design. But outside of the plugins, Motif is almost exactly the same as Figma. And so I tried here, as you can see, to try a couple different things to kind of see what Motif, what you could do with it. And so I've done, the basics. I have, an image here that I have from my website of a creator. And then I tried the basics. Let's grab this and pull it out just so you can kind of see this hero image. And this is a combined image. In other words, there's lots of images inside of this one image. So you can see this hero image here has this a mask for just the head of the creator, and then the rectangle here has the image itself inside of it. And basically what you do is I made a transparent mask and then filled the rectangle with it so that I could have the head breaking outside of the rectangle. And then I have other rectangles around it with different colors, as you can see. And then I have things like this little performance graphic here. And as you can see, if you're familiar again with Figma, there's auto layouts here. This looks almost exactly the same. You have your auto layouts laid out here. You could choose your different colors. You could do your different, drops. This is almost a direct, I don't want to say rip-off, but it's almost a direct one-to-one for Figma here. It's pretty incredible. And like I said, you can make pretty complex things in this. Like I said, this hero image thing, this is something you normally would do in Figma, Obviously I masked it out in a different program. If you're in Figma, there's some plugins that you could just say, hey, mask out this image or remove the image from the background. And that's pretty common. I had to use Affinity Photo for it, but that's fine. Again, it's not like I didn't already have it. To mask out just this section of his head. Some side spacing. Make sure these all align down horizontally. Vertically for this one. These ones are two different items that are, I even did the little heart is a combined shape of a triangle with rounded corners and then two circles to make the little heart. And then the build, get build noticed. And again, this is an auto layout here that goes horizontally with spacing. So this is the kind of stuff you would do in Figma all day, every day. And you could do the exact same thing here. All right. So this is an example of what would be a navigation bar. So I have, obviously it's not filled in because I'm just doing the basic design. So I have a navigation bar here, and I have a logo on one side, and then I have the other navigation items on the other. And again, this is an auto layout, right? And then you set it to auto so they space apart by default. And I do have a fixed width for 1408. And again, it's just like how you would do it in Figma. It's just like it. And again, we're talking about 1/3 of the price. I think it's going to take a lot for Figma to come through and say, justify spending 3 times the amount for something that is almost exactly identical. Because my assumption is at some point you're going to grow the plugins for your Motif, and you're going to get other plugins that you can have just like you have in Figma as that community grows. I hope, anyways. But if you're talking about just the work you could do with it, I mean, this is pretty great. And I haven't even gone into the AI side of it. This also has built-in AI features for this. So if I wanted to, for example, now one of the things I haven't quite worked out on yet is doing the where you can have it shift and decide what kind of, show me different like nav bars, for example. But I could go in here and I could say AI, and I want to do an AI layout. AI builds temporary structure, right? So you could do an auto layout. You can see even here, you have AI generates a UI. You can even have AI generate a system for you. So, again, usually one of the big pains of any of these things is going through and saying, okay, this is what I want my H1s to be on mobile, desktop. These are my color things. If you can have something that just, even if it just starts that for you, and then you just fill it in with the data you want, instead of making each and every single section by scratch, that in of itself is an amazing time saver. Because I know usually what I do is I take a design system I have in another file, bring it into Figma, because it's already done, and then I just replace everything as necessary. But what if you don't already have that? It'd be nice to have something that would just kind of generate that for you. So let's look at one of these. AI generate UI. And then I could say, desktop site for a video editor. Oop. And I have no idea what this is going to do, but let's look and see what it does. And it's going to generate, and you see it's generating 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I don't know if I should have put in the exact frame, right? Like I should have said, 1400 pixels across, or if you could just say desktop. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't really tried this part of it. I just tried to do the other part of the work to see how close it was to a Figma. All right, so let's look at this. All right, so it did not generate a desktop. That's fine, but look. Oh, you know what? I said video editor. Oh no, this is not bad. But this is more a video edit, not a person who's a video editor, a site that does video editing. And you probably should prompt better. But you could see like what it did just by default. I mean, look at this. Search your videos, and here's your little editing thing. Home, projects, explore, profile. So like this is a very good start for something that's, I'm just saying, hey, give me a starting point. Now, obviously, what you would really do is you make a better prompt, you'd roll this out, you generate the thing, and then you would go through and you'd make your changes and your edits and your this and your that as necessary. But if you're talking about from a starting point, this is going to get you probably with the right prompts. And again, if I was writing better prompts in this would probably get you 70% of the way there. And then you would make your changes, you do your stuff, and you still got to bring in the code and yada, yada, yada. And I haven't looked to see, and obviously because I'm on a free plan, because I'm trying it, I haven't seen what the dev mode looks like. But I don't even really use Figma's dev mode. I tend to just write the tailwind myself because I tend to use Astro as well. I'm not really concerned about how it's going to write it. I tend to do those things myself. But that doesn't mean that will always be the case. Maybe in some point in the future, these things will have a dev mode that I would think is better and writes code the way I would like, and it will do it for me. But again, this is not a bad start at all. So if you're looking for something that's again, you're not tied to Figma, and you're looking for something else, I mean, why not try Motiff? And I would say even if you are using Figma, try Motiff and try some of the things that it can do. Play around with it. I know I'm going to play with it some more because it might be worth going off for a third of the price. it's definitely worth checking out. So I hope that you had a fun time looking at these things, and I hope you give it a try. I know I will. All right. Have a good one. Peace.